Okay. Okay. I think I fixed the problem. There we go. So let's see. Yes, we're live. We're actually live. Just to make sure we are really live this time. Let's see. YouTube, my channel. Yes. Yes. I think we're live this time, folks. I believe we're live. Alright, welcome everyone to the Rascal Gaming Q&A podcast, which this will be my first time and I'm very excited. Now, okay, so everything's excellent. Let's see, stream is on, audio quality is good. Okay, I just want to double check and make sure we are really live, so I'm aware. Yes, okay, my email says that we're live too. And to make sure it is live, let me check my studio just in case. Because, let's see. Content. Should be live. I'll check that out later. But I believe we're live because it says YouTube and it says excellence. So, that means that's great news. Yeah, I hope you guys like the new background. I decided to get all sparkly and the aurora on tonight because I think it's a great time to do that. Yes, okay, it says we are live. Phenomenal. Perfect. Alright, so. Okay, welcome back to it. No, I don't want to do that. I want to share the live because I do not want to do that. Let's see. Hi, come join me on the live tonight where we talk about games and everything fun. Alright, sorry guys, I'm just gonna do a little bit of that and post. I'm posting it to my social medias right quick on my iPad, so I don't have to struggle about it on my computer. And who knows, we might actually pop in a game or something fun. I don't know yet. This is new, so I'm really excited to see where this takes us. Just give me a second. Because I'm just gonna copy the link. I think everything is okay. So, alright. Okay. So it's just me by myself tonight. So yeah, let's see if we get any other people joining. But it's okay, because this is also going to be on YouTube, and yeah. So I know zero drains profit. Okay, that's good. Yes, everything seems great. So let's just try to get the views coming. All right. So tomorrow is the Pokemon event, and um, however, I'm not going to be able to record or live the event because of the you have to the policy, the Nintendo Pokemon policy I read today. So I won't be doing. However, I am trying to get more involved with the audience, and I want to talk to you fellow people about games and special stuff that's happening. Alright, so let's see. I guess, let me think. So, if you guys don't know, my name is Dennis Rascal Gaming, and I am wanting to talk to you guys live about video games and review and talk more about people with disabilities like myself who has trouble playing video games. So, so let's see. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to read the chat. That's a new thing I'm trying to work on. I can open my studio up, and I'm sure it will tell me who wants to chat and so on. So, yeah, let's see if that's gonna work. Hmm. I don't think so. But let's see what else. No, I don't want to do that. Well, if I don't see the chat, I am very sorry. This is my first time, so bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Alright, so the Pokemon Presents is going to happen tomorrow morning, and it is National Pokemon Day. So, I thought that we could first discuss what's Pokemon. Is it made for kids? What is um Pokemon? So let me just Google it up right quick. Let's do Pokemon history. Yeah, Pokemon history. On, let's see. The Wikipedia is not always the brightest, but it will do the job for now. It's not always the brightest, but it would do. It would definitely do. Wait, an error? What do you mean error? Why am I getting an error right now? Okay, it's okay. Maybe it won't bother so much if it's an error. Okay, let's just get it there. Let's open up the Windows source. Windows capture. Yes. Select the window. Pokemon Wikipedia. There we go. Now let's see if I can. Yes, I think. No. Okay, I think that would do. But let's see. If I don't get it right the first try, I think I have an idea. I'm going to not do my face and just show you guys. No? Ah. show you guys. There. Okay. Now that we got that settled. Now, since it's Pokemon Day, I want to relate this topic to Pokemon. Well, now, since I can't read, I have an idea. And this is great because if you listen to this, it will read it to you. Now, let's start with this. Okay, let's just. I want to start here. Alright, so it's all for all ages. Perfect. Perfect. Hmm. Can you guys hear that? Okay, I think you can hear it now.
The
Okay.
original full name of the franchise is Pocket Monsters,
Yeah,
Paquetto
okay.
Monsard,
Hang
which
on.
has been commonly abbreviated to Pokemon since its launch.
I
When
didn't.
the franchise was released internationally,
Okay, I did not realize that it was not doing that. So let me start it over and play.
Pokemon.
Alright, let's go to the history, the origin of Pokemon.
Pokemon A.B. is a Japanese media franchise consisting of video games, animated series and films, a trading card game, and other related media. The franchise takes place in a shared universe in which humans coexist with creatures known as Pokemon, a large variety of species endowed with special powers. The franchise's primary target audience is children aged 5 to 12, too, but it is known to attract people of all ages. The franchise originated as a pair of role-playing games developed by Game Freak, from an original concept by its founder, Satoshi Tajiri. Released on the Game Boy on the 27th of February, 1996, the games became sleeper hits and were followed by manga series, a trading card game, an anime series and films. From 1998 to 2000, Pokemon was exported to the rest of the world, creating an unprecedented global phenomenon dubbed Pokemania. By 2002, the craze had ended, after which Pokemon became a fixture in popular culture, with new products being released to this day. In the summer of 2016, the franchise spawned a second craze with the release of Pokemon Go, an augmented reality game developed by Niantic. Pokemon has since been estimated to be the world's highest-grossing media franchise and one of the best-selling video game franchises. Pokemon has an uncommon ownership structure, 11, unlike most IPs, which are owned by one company. Pokemon is jointly owned by 3, Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures. 1. Game Freak develops the core series role-playing games, which are published by Nintendo exclusively for their consoles, while Creatures manages the trading card game and related merchandise, occasionally developing spin-off titles. The three companies established the Pokemon Company, TPC, in 1998 to manage the Pokemon property within Asia. The Pokemon anime series and films are co-owned by Shogakukan. Since 2009, the Pokemon Company International, TPCI, a subsidiary of TPC, has managed the franchise in all regions outside Asia, 12 or 13. Name. The original full name of the franchise is Pocket Monsters, Poketo Monsat, which has been commonly abbreviated to Pokemon since its launch. When the franchise was released internationally, the short form of the title was used, with an internationally, the short form of the title was used, with an title was used, with an acute accent over the E to aid in pronunciation. 14. As a Japanese word composed of English loanwords, the word Pokemon is an example of a waseigo. 15, 30. Pokemon refers to both the franchise itself and the creatures within its fictional universe. As a noun, it is identical in both the singular and plural, as is every individual species name. Winking sad smiley. 16. It is grammatically correct to say one Pokemon and many Pokemon, as well as one Pikachu and many Pikachus. 17. General concept. The Pokemon franchise is set in a world in which humans coexist with creatures known as Pokemon. Pokemon Red and Blue contain 151 Pokemon species, with new ones being added in subsequent games. As of January 2024, 1,025 Pokemon species have been introduced. Most Pokemon are inspired by real-world animals or mythical creatures based on real-life folklore. 18. For example, Pikachu are a yellow, mouse-like species with tails shaped as lightning bolts, able to blast powerful electric jolts through the air. 19, 20, 21. The player character takes the role of a Pokemon trainer. The trainer has three primary goals: travel and explore the Pokemon world, discover and catch each Pokemon species in order to complete their pokes, and train a team of up to 6 Pokemon at a time and have them engage in Pokemon battles. Most Pokemon can be caught with spherical devices known as Pokeballs. Once the opposing Pokemon is sufficiently weakened, the trainer throws the Pokeball against the Pokemon, which is then transformed into a form of energy and transported into the device. Once the catch is successful, the Pokémon is tamed and is under the trainer's command from then on. If the Pokeball is thrown again, the Pokémon rematerializes into its original state. The trainer's Pokémon can engage in battles against opposing Pokémon, including those in the wild or owned by other trainers.
Okay, that's
Because the
very
franchise is
interesting.
aimed at children, these battles are never presented as overtly violent and contain no blood or gore. 2. Pokémon never die in battle, they faint upon being defeated, and can then be rejuvenated at a Pokémon Center. 3. When a Pokémon wins a battle, it gains experience points, 30. After gaining a certain amount of them, the Pokémon levels up, and its statistics rise. As its level increases, the Pokémon learns new offensive and defensive moves to use in battle. 31. 32. Furthermore, many species can undergo a form of spontaneous metamorphosis called Pokémon evolution, and transform into stronger forms. 33. Most Pokémon will evolve at a certain level, while others evolve through different means, such as exposure to a certain item or trading with another trainer. 34. History. Origins. The main idea behind Pokémon was conceived by Satoshi Tajiri. Tajiri was born on 28 August 1965, 35, and grew up in Machida, a suburb of Tokyo. 36. As a child, he enjoyed discovering and catching insects and other small creatures in the various ponds and fields that surrounded his town. 37. 38. During Japan's economic miracle, many cities, including Machida, were significantly expanded. As a consequence, Machida's nature was largely destroyed. In his second year of junior high school, 39, 40, an arcade hall opened in Tajiri's neighborhood, introducing him to video games. While studying electrical engineering at Tokyo College of Technology, JA, Tajiri began publishing a doujinshi magazine titled Game Freak. The title was inspired by the 1932 film Freaks, which Tajiri was fascinated with at the time. 41. He self-published the first issue of the magazine in March 1983, at the age of 17. 42. 43. At the time, magazines specializing in video games did not yet exist in Japan, allowing Game Freak
It might be slow, I don't know.
to fill a gap in the market. 44. 45. Sometime later, Tajiri was contacted by aspiring manga artist Ken Sugimori, who became Game Freak's illustrator. 46. Game Freak folded in the late 1980s. 42. By which point Tajiri had become a respected game journalist in Japan's fledgling video game industry. 47. Tajiri's knowledge of video games brought him into contact with Tsuneka Ishihara. Ishihara had studied arts and science at Tsukuba University and was trained in CGI. After working in advertising for 2 years, Ishihara joined a company named Seedic in 1983, which created video graphics and software. 48, including one video game, Otoki, 1987. 49. 50. As video games grew in popularity, Seedic also produced a number of game-related television shows for Fuji Television's late-night slot. 48. In his job as a TV producer, Ishihara befriended Tajiri, as well as Shigeto Itwa, who would later become CEO of Ape, Inc. 51. 52. Ishihara was also the general director of the world's first gaming encyclopedia, TV Games, Encyclopedia of Video Games, Terabigmu Idensha Igi Taizen. 53. 54. Kenji Tokeyama and Mosokozu Kubo, 2000, wrote that, at the time, Ishihara was probably the most well-connected man in the industry. 55. With a knowledge of games beyond comparison. 56. Ishihara was also interested in playing cards. 57. 58. And contributed to the development of at least 3 simple card games designed by Itwa and published by Ape. D. In 1986, Tajiri Sugimori and a few other enthusiasts started an informal development team called Game Freak, named after the magazine it grew out of. Over the next few years, they independently developed the puzzle game Kinty, working on it alongside school or their regular jobs. 65. However, no one within the group knew how to make the game's music. After consulting all his contacts, Tajiri got in touch with Junichi Masuda, who became the group's composer. 66. Kinty was finished in 1989 and published by Namco. 67. Tajiri officially incorporated Game Freak Company Limited on 26 April 1989. 68. 1989 to 1995, development of Red and Green. Tajiri started to think of what was to become Pokemon while completing Kinty, and before he officially founded Game Freak. Around this time, Nintendo announced the upcoming release of the Game Boy, a handheld console that would revolutionize the gaming industry. Tajiri learned that the device would have a link port, and with the corresponding Game Link cable, two Game Boys could be linked together. 69. Sometime later, Tajiri remembered an incident while playing Dragon Quest II, 1987, a role-playing game, RPG, for the Famicom NES. The game features randomly appearing items of varying rarity, including an extremely rare item called Mysterious Hat. Tajiri did not encounter any, while Ken Sugimori, who was also playing the game, encountered two. Upon recalling this experience, Tajiri realized that the cable now made it possible to transfer things from one cartridge to another, for, he noted that, until then, the Game Link cable was only used for competing, but not for something else. 74. Combining this inspiration with his memories of catching insects and other small species, Tajiri's idea would eventually evolve into a virtual recreation of his boyhood experiences. 75. And an attempt to regain the world that he had lost. 76. He would later state that the game represents the story of a boy's summer day. 77. Gashapon capsules have been cited as an inspiration for Pokemon. Tajiri and his Game Freak staff began pondering over a game centered on capturing creatures of differing rarity. Since the Game Boy is a portable device, these creatures could then be exchanged with other players in real life using the link cable. Once the player has caught a creature in-game, it was to be stored in miniaturized form in a special capsule. This facet of the game was inspired by Ultra 7, a tokusatsu show that Tajiri had enjoyed as a child. 78. The series' titular character owns a number of capsules containing miniaturized Kiju monsters, which come out and return to their original sizes when the capsule is thrown into mid-air. Kiju media in general were an important influence on Pokemon, as many Game Freak staff members had grown up with them. 71. 79. Other influences that have been cited by Tajiri include Gashapon, capsules with toy figures in them that can be drawn from vending machines. Winking Sad Smiley. 80. 81. Collectible cards, such as baseball cards, Ultraman cards, and Menko.
Okay, so that's very interesting to learn about.
The Final Fantasy Legend, 1989, the first RPG for the Game Boy. Winking Sad Smiley. 86. And petting in Japan, with Tajiri noting that having Pokemon is similar to having pets. 87. Tajiri initially named his project Capsule Monsters, which GF staff commonly shortened to Capumon. 88. However, it later turned out that the term Capsule Monsters could not be trademarked, and it was subsequently decided to call the game Pocket Monsters, which became Pokemon. According to Tomisawa, 2000, the phrase Capsule Monsters was already registered. 88. According to Tokeyama and Kubo, 2000, the word capsule could not be used in the trademark. 89. Tomisawa, 2000, states that the Game Freak staff then came up with several alternatives, before someone within the team suggested Pocket Monsters. 88. In March 1989, Nintendo co-founded Ape Incorporated with Itwa. Ape's principal work was Mother, 1989, a role-playing game written by Itwa, but it was also founded with the intent to give outside talent a chance to pitch new, innovative games. 52. 57. At the time, Ape was housed in the same Kandasudak office building as Nintendo, located in Tokyo. 90. Ishihara, a friend of both Itwa and Tajiri, was involved with Ape's management. and would become its vice president in 1991. 52-55, Tajiri's relationship with Ishihara prompted Tajiri to present his idea for Pocket Monsters at Ape's office. 91-92, present during Tajiri's pitch was Takashi Kawaguchi, who worked at Nintendo's General Affairs Department and was also a manager at Ape. 57-93, Kawaguchi brought the idea to Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi, who reportedly said, "This is it. This is the idea I've been waiting for." 94. By pure coincidence, Ishihara had come up with an idea for a game similar to that of Tajiri, and around the same time was discussing it with Ape. This game, Toto, involved using the Game Boy as an insect cage. Ishihara emphasized, however, that the idea of trading creatures with the link cable was Tajiri's. GF and Ape agreed to merge their projects together. 95. According to Tajiri, the two teams initially collaborated on the game, but the work proved difficult, one of the reasons being that Ape was busy developing Earthbound. 96-97. Tajiri eventually figured that rather than working with Ape, we had to do something on our own, or the project would never get finished. 96. Ape Incorporated is not credited on the final product. The development contract was signed at the beginning of 1990, with a planned delivery of the game in October. 98. Tajiri directed the project, working under Ishihara. 99. Ishihara was the producer, he managed the budget, staff, and work schedule, monitored the game's overall progress, and served as a liaison between Game Freak and Nintendo. 95-100. Ishihara also contributed ideas to the development. 58, and helped with debugging. 101-102. Sugimori was in charge of the graphics and character design. 103. Masuda created all music and sound effects, and did part of the programming. 104. The budget that Nintendo granted to Game Freak was low. Winking sad smiley. 98. Thus, Pocket Monsters was initially planned as a small, compact game, based primarily around Tajiri's core idea of exchanging. 86. 105. However, as development progressed, GF's ideas and ambitions for Pokemon grew. 86.
So I won't cover all of it, just this part of...
They soon realized that the game they were beginning to envision would not be easy to make. Sugimori admitted that, at the time, no one at GF had much knowledge of RPGs. We thought we could handle it, but as we began working, we realized it was going to be tough, he acknowledged. 106. Pocket Monsters was suspended indefinitely, and GF turned their focus on other titles. See Game Freak Games. After the game's initial development phase in 1990 and 1991, 107, the staff tinkered with it from time to time, as Sugimori put it. 108, for instance, by October 1992, a large number of Pokemon had been designed, and a poll was held that month among all staff members to gauge the popularity of the different species. Several more such votes followed to determine collectively which Pokemon should be included. 109, still, development had mostly come to a halt until the summer of 1994, after the release of the platform game Pulseman, upon which Tajiri decided it was time to make a serious effort towards finishing Pocket Monsters. 110, by this point, Game Freak's experience had grown considerably. Over the years, a number of new staff members had been added to the company. One of them was Otsuko Nishida, a graphic artist who created Pikachu, among others. 111, 112, 113.
So we're just gonna do this origin right here.
Ishihara used
Not
his
all of
knowledge
it.
of card games to add more depth to the battle system, and among other things suggested Pokemon types. Ishihara also came up with the idea of the Pokes, a portable encyclopedic device which players can use to keep track of the Pokemon they caught. Throughout the years, Tajiri had several conversations with Shigeru Miyamoto, 114, Nintendo's top game designer who Tajiri described as a mentor figure. 78, although, in a 2018 retrospect, Miyamoto downplayed his role in advising Tajiri, and stated that his contributions to Pokemon were in fact limited. 115. Miyamoto did, however, suggest the use of different colored cartridges for the game, in response to Tajiri's and Ishihora's musings about making each playthrough slightly different, as to individualize the player's experience. 116. According to Tajiri, 5 or 7 colors were considered. 117, but they eventually settled on 2, red and green. Otherwise identical, each had Pokemon not found in the other, encouraging players to socialize and trade to complete their collection. 116. Ishihara aspired to create video games of his own. 118. As Pocket Monsters Red and Green were nearing completion, Ishihara founded Creatures Incorporated on the 8th of November, 1995. Upon founding, the company was housed in the same office building as Nintendo in Tokyo. 119. Co-ownership of the Pokemon property, which Ishihara helped create, was subsequently assigned to Creatures. This resulted in Pokemon having 3 legal owners: Game Freak, the main developer; Creatures, representing producer Ishihara; and Nintendo, the publisher. And Allison, 2006, wrote that Nintendo also bought the property after Red and Green were finished. 120. Hatokeyama and Kubo, 2000, noted that the ownership structure of Pokemon is uncommon. 11. They wrote that Pokemon is probably the only property in the world today for which the original rights are not concentrated in a single company, like the Walt Disney Company does with their IPs. 121. Tajiri and Ishihara did consider merging Game Freak and Creatures at one point. However, Tajiri decided against it because he feared it would erase what he had built up since he was a teenager. I felt threatened by the idea of changing how Game Freak was operating, and starting back over with Mr. Ishihara, he said. It was an identity problem. If Game Freak ceased to exist, then so would I. Tajiri noted that, since Game Freak and Creatures both focus on Pokemon, it sometimes felt more like different departments than different companies. 91. Pocket Monsters Red and Green were finally finished in December 1995. 122. A release date of the 21st of December that year was announced. 123, but missed. After sufficient cartridges, manuals, and packages had been manufactured, the pair of games ended up being published on the 27th of February, 1996. However, the property was copyrighted in 1995, and copyright symbol 1995 is shown on the title screens. 124, and cartridges. 125. This year is since used on the copyright notice, 1, seen on many Pokemon products, even though no actual Pokemon product was released in 1995. 126. 1996 to 1998, rise in Japan. Release of Red and Green. Nintendo had no high expectations of Pocket Monsters Red and Green, and media largely ignored the game. 127. By 1996, the 7-year-old Game Boy console was considered yesterday's news and near the end of its life cycle. 26. 128. 129. On the other hand, new Game Boys continued to be manufactured and sold. 130. The console was widespread and, due to its age, affordable to children. 26. 131. Also, the Game Boy had experienced a small revival in Japan in 1995 due to the success of Mario's Picross. Coincidentally, this game was directed by Ishihara and co-developed by Ape. The popularity of Mario's Picross incited Nintendo to develop the Game Boy Pocket. 132, a slimmer and improved version of the Game Boy, released in Japan on 21 July 1996. 133, because of the timing and naming, some were under the impression that the Game Boy Pocket was made to promote Pocket Monsters, but this was in fact a coincidence that would end up benefiting both. 134. Koro Koro Manga, New Lottery.
I think that'll be it for now. Discussing the history of Pokemon, at least for now. So, yeah. So, let's see. I just wanted to give you guys some history of Pokemon since tomorrow is the event. And, well, I just wanted to share and learn more about Pokemon for the original. Because I was planning on streaming the event tomorrow. However, I don't know anything about Pokemon. All I have is watching the anime. So that's kind of about it. However, thanks to my mom, I should learn about the history and talk to you guys about it more often, See what you guys think. So, yeah, that is the history so far of the first chapter, which is red and green. So, that is interesting. Let's see. So if there's any Q&A, if you guys want to discuss, that would be great. So we have 8 viewers, chat ratings, 1 view. Okay. I hope you guys like the Aurora Lights. It's pretty amazing. It's like I'm at the North Pole already. So, let's see. How long have we been live? Okay. Um, so, let me think. I guess this would do for now. I just wanted to see what's going on, discuss some stuff. I am planning to make some more videos shortly. I have think I think I have figured out a way now to do my voice, including um, I'm gonna use Bluetooth headphones for now and see if that will work because my headphones is not working right on the OBS, and I finally figured it out since now it's connected. So that is brilliant. So, I guess I can actually rename this and say Pokemon History Podcast Part 1, and we discuss the history of Pokemon together. And, I guess that will be it. Let's see. I am planning to do some research more on some new games coming out. However, that is going to be a little challenging. And I would like to try to interview developers, any game developers, about people with disabilities. Because how I was doing that was voice on the computer. So it reads the stuff for me. So, because I'm visually impairment and it's hard for me to read dialogue and stuff, so I like it to listen. I like when it listens. Oh, sorry. I have trouble speaking like that a bit. Get my words right. I have trouble looking at the dialogue because it is so tiny. I have to get up this close in order to see it. I don't like that. For people with disabilities and well for my visually impairment because I'm not 20/20 vision. I'm visually impaired actually, and you can listen to all about that on um uh my short video of my life story on YouTube I did last year. So I'm planning to hope do more content like this. Um so yeah, I just hope we guys can see what Pokemon has in store tomorrow at the event. Sadly, I won't be covering the event immediately, but I might talk about it after. We'll see. We'll see. So please like, share, and subscribe, and tell me what are you excited for the Pokemon event. I'm hoping for well, I am watching the Pokemon Horizons on Netflix, and I'm on season 2, so that is good. So I am really excited to see if they can remaster an old Pokemon game like X and Y on the 3DS, which I love the series. I already pre-order all of the series on DVD. the complete season of X and Y, and then the X and Y Carlos Quest or Carlos League. No, Carlos Quest. Yeah, and X and Y, X, Y, and Z, all on DVD, complete season. So yeah. I hope you guys have a great night. It's not long because I want to, I don't want to give people too much of a long podcast.